You didn't find this message. This message found you because heaven is reaching for you. And the proof is the pounding in your chest right now. That stirring you can't ignore? That pressure rising behind your eyes? That electricity moving through your spirit? That's not emotion. That's divine contact. God told me to release this word to you. And if it's in front of your eyes right now, then you've been marked for movement. You're standing at the invisible edge of something sacred, something weighty, something so heaven-ordained. Hell has been trying to sabotage it before you even knew it existed. But it's too late for the enemy, because God moved first. Why everything's felt so heavy, let's be honest. The past few months haven't just been hard. They've been unexplainably heavy. You've questioned your direction. You've felt restless, frustrated, even disconnected from the places and people that once brought comfort. You've cried without knowing why. Felt like a stranger in familiar rooms. You've wondered, is this all there is? That wasn't confusion. That was your spirit recognizing the expiration of a season before your mind could catch up. God hasn't abandoned you. He's been dislodging you, shaking your spirit from the inside out, because he refuses to let you settle in a place that can no longer carry your calling. The heaviness? It was labor pains. You're not breaking down. You're being born into something new. The message is not random. This isn't just encouragement. This is instruction. This message is a divine announcement. A wake-up call. You are on the brink of something life-altering. Not someday, not eventually. Now, what's ahead of you, God says, is greater than anything you've lost. But it requires one thing, your yes. And here's the part most won't tell you. Before God relocates your surroundings, he shifts your spirit. That unease you feel isn't a sign that something's wrong. It's proof that something holy is already happening. You're not just stepping into a new home. You are stepping into a new dimension. A divine relocation has been activated. This is not just about real estate. This is not just a new address or location. This is a heavenly reassignment, a repositioning of your purpose. Your environment is being transformed because you've outgrown where you are. Spiritually, emotionally, energetically. That place that once felt right, it now feels like resistance. The people you used to walk with, they no longer hear the sound of your future. The peace you used to settle into, now replaced by a holy tension. Not chaos, anticipation. Because heaven has sent a signal. The house is ready. The time is now. I saw the vision in prayer. I was shown a vision. A house. But not just any house, your house. It shimmered in gold light, suspended in the spirit, anchored by purpose. It wasn't just beautiful. It was appointed. I saw a massive hand stretch from heaven, glowing, pulsing with radiant energy. In its palm, a golden key. Then, the voice of God, tell my people, the house is already prepared. They just need to say yes. This wasn't metaphor. It was movement in the spirit realm. Heaven is actively sending assignments into the earth. And those who respond will receive not just a blessing, but access. What this key unlocks, this key isn't about status or luxury. It unlocks something deeper. Peace that doesn't collapse under pressure. Clarity where there's been confusion. Stability where there's been chaos. Provision in place of survival. Purpose instead of wandering. This is not hype. This is a relocation into your next chapter. But not everyone will access it. Why? Because heaven only releases what earth agrees with. Agreement opens doors. Hesitation delays destiny. That's why this word is so urgent. The angelic delivery is ready. The coordinates are set. But the move won't happen without your response. The enemy saw it first, make no mistake. The enemy saw your blessing before you did. That's why the past season has felt like war. Unusual fatigue. Unexpected emotional battles. Isolation. Panic attacks. Sudden doubt. Financial pressure. Old fears returning. These weren't coincidences. They were warfare. The enemy saw your house in the spirit. He saw the door unlocking. And he panicked. He's tried to convince you to settle. To stay small. To give up. To numb yourself with distraction and delay. But what he didn't count on was this. You'd make it to this message. You'd make it through the fire. And you'd still believe. Your response activates the next step. God, doesn't need your strength. He just wants your faith. He doesn't need you to have it all figured out. He needs your surrender. Say it right now. I receive my divine relocation. Say it because heaven is listening. Say it because the enemy needs to hear it. Say it because your next season is voice activated. Say it because you're not waiting on the blessing anymore. The blessing is waiting on you. God is moving, not metaphorically, not gradually. Right now, the gates of heaven are open, not for everyone, but for those whose hearts are still whispering, I believe. If you're reading this, then that means you're one of them. And right now, a holy dispatch has been released. Angels are on assignment. They're not going to stadiums or stages. They're not flying toward platforms or microphones. They're not looking for performance. They're going into homes, real homes, where real people have been crying on bathroom floors, whispering in dark rooms, pacing through sleepless nights, looking at empty fridges and unpaid bills, still muttering through their fear. God, I trust you. And heaven is responding. I saw the angels delivering keys in a second vision. I was taken into the Spirit, and what I saw left me breathless. Angels were descending, radiant, glowing in robes of fire and mist. Not one looked the same. Some shimmered like dawn. Others radiated like lightning. But all of them carried one thing, golden keys. Not symbolic, real. Each key was unique, carved with divine craftsmanship, etched with heavenly detail. And each one was attached to a name. They weren't random. They were assigned. The angels weren't dropping keys from the sky. They were walking into homes, delivering destiny. What the keys meant, these keys weren't just for doors. They were for restoration of peace, divine provision, new territory, generational blessing, protection from cycles, supernatural relocation. Each key held access, not to material wealth alone, but to the next dimension of identity, calling, healing, and purpose. I saw one angel enter the home of a woman whose faith was hanging by a thread. Her cupboards were empty. Her tears hadn't stopped in days. But when the angel placed the key beside her bed, I heard heaven shout, she still believes. And light filled the room. Not symbolic light, literal glory. And in that light came peace, provision, a shift. The keys don't look the same, because neither do the assignments. Some keys were smooth, gleaming like mirrors. Others were jagged, heavy, burning like they came from the fire of refining. Each one matched the journey of the person receiving it. Because what God is giving you won't look like anyone else's promise. Your door will not open with their key. Your blessing is not delayed, it's custom built. And if it hasn't arrived yet, it's only because it's still being perfected for your purpose. A key was placed on a man's table. I saw another vision. A man, silent in his living room. The weight of unpaid bills on his shoulders. Anxiety wrapping around his lungs like rope. He said nothing out loud. But in his silence, his soul cried out. And the angel arrived, not with noise, but with stillness. The key was laid on his table. And the moment it touched wood, a soundless explosion rippled through the house. Everything shifted. The atmosphere changed. Fear left. Peace entered. Not the temporary kind, the unshakable kind. Because what this man had lost wasn't his mind. It was hope. And heaven gave it back. This is not metaphor. This is movement. This is not a motivational message. This is a moment. This is a snapshot of what's happening in real time across cities, nations, homes, apartments, even vehicles, wherever hearts have chosen faith over fear. If your heart is still beating with hope, if you've prayed through exhaustion, if you've said, God, don't forget me, then you need to hear this clearly. Heaven has not forgotten where you live. Even if no one checks on you, even if no one notices your struggle, even if no one understands how close you've been to giving up, God has sent angels with your address written in fire. Speak now, because heaven is listening for agreement. Do not stay silent. Not now. The atmosphere around you is sensitive. Angels don't just respond to need, they respond to faith. And heaven is listening for your agreement. Say it now. My home is ready. Don't whisper in fear. Declare it in power. Say it like someone who knows that the pressure you've been under wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Say it like someone who knows the enemy didn't win. Say it like someone who's done apologizing for dreaming bigger. Say it because your voice is a key. The keys are falling now, even now as you read. There are homes being marked. A widow's house filled with silence, now filled with light. A young woman who almost took her own life, but chose one more prayer. A man who buried a parent and felt alone, but just received a peace he cannot explain. The angels are not delayed. They're in motion. Some are already standing at doors, waiting for your yes to unlock the rest. Because when you agree, the transaction completes. What was once spiritual manifests in the natural. This is only the beginning. We are still early in this story. This is not the end. It's the activation. In the next chapter, you will walk through the door. You will feel the atmosphere of the promise. You will hear what happens when heaven lands in your living room. But right now, pause, breathe, and speak these words with boldness. I agree with heaven. I receive the key. My house is marked, and I'm stepping into the life God wrote for me. There's a sound in the spirit. Can you hear it? It's not loud. It's not chaotic. It's not demanding. It's steady, hollow, sacred. It's the sound of a door swinging open. Not just any door. Your door. The one heaven designed. The one the angels have been guarding. The one hell tried to block, but failed. This is the moment your feet cross the threshold from survival into fulfillment. And yet, heaven is asking gently, will you step through it? Or will you hesitate because what's waiting on the other side isn't just a place. It's a life. The door has been unlocked, but heaven won't push you understand this. The door doesn't swing open with force. It's not a battering ram. It's an invitation. God doesn't drag people into blessing. He draws them. But to be drawn, you must let go of what's behind you. You cannot carry Egypt into Canaan. You cannot drag betrayal, bitterness, and broken identities into the place marked by glory. You are being invited into the atmosphere of divine peace, and peace cannot coexist with what heaven has already told you to release. This move is spiritual first, physical second, and the relocation isn't just happening around you. It's beginning inside you. What you'll feel in the new space. I saw it clearly. I saw people walk through doors, spiritually and literally, and the air changed. Their hearts slowed. Their minds softened. Their shoulders dropped the weight they forgot they were carrying. Because the house wasn't just a structure. It was an environment tailored for healing. This is what heaven has prepared for you. Rooms where your voice echoes without being silenced. Walls that don't trap you, but protect your growth. Windows that pour in light, real light. Spaces that match your soul's expansion. The furniture was peace. The paint was joy. The foundation was unshakable trust. This wasn't a house built by hands. This was a house born from prophecy, and your spirit will recognize it instantly. The feeling of this is it. You won't have to force anything. You won't have to fake it. There will be a deep knowing, a shift in your atmosphere, a break in your breath, that still, quiet whisper that says, I've arrived where heaven meant me to be, and no one will be able to explain it. They might not understand why you left where you were, why you walked away from what looked good on the outside. But you will know, because peace doesn't lie. Your identity will catch up with your calling. You've grown. That's why the old space felt suffocating. Not because something was wrong with you, but because something had finally become right. Your calling started expanding, and the old container cracked. In the new place, spiritually, emotionally, physically, you will remember who you are. You will prophesy again. You will laugh deeply. You will breathe without tightness in your chest. And the voice of the inner you, the real you, will speak without fear. This place won't just support your calling, it will activate it. What the enemy will try when you step and make no mistake. The moment you step into new territory, the enemy will panic again. He may try last-minute tactics, sudden fear, guilt about leaving, attacks on your worthiness, memories of past mistakes. He'll whisper lies like, you don't belong here. You haven't earned this. You're not strong enough for this life. But you must recognize it for what it is, a last breath of a defeated system. Because when God opens a door, no one can shut it. Not even you. The only way to lose the promise is to refuse to walk through it. The evidence will be subtle, but real heaven rarely proves itself with fireworks. Instead, it will be things like a deep night of rest for the first time in months, a conversation with someone who reflects the next version of you, a check in the mail you didn't expect, a message of confirmation at the exact moment of your doubt. These aren't accidents. They are evidence, the proof that the new place, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, is not only real, it's already unfolding. Don't go back. There will be moments, especially in transition, when you feel like you should turn around. Like the old place wasn't so bad. Like maybe you imagine this whole shift. That's not discernment. That's the voice of fear wearing your old comfort. Remember Lot's wife. She looked back and turned to salt, not because she was evil, but because she couldn't let go. This isn't about good or bad. It's about movement, and movement requires momentum. You come too far, stop now. Declare this into the atmosphere. This is not the time to be passive. Heaven is listening for a sound, a declaration. Let your voice match your vision. Say this now, out loud. The door is open. I step into what was promised. I leave behind what no longer carries my name. I enter peace. I enter purpose. I enter God's appointed space. My new house, my new life is here, and I will not go back. What's coming next? This is not just a spiritual concept. In the next part of this prophetic message, you will witness how the relocation manifests in the natural realm, how God finishes what he started, how angels not only deliver the key, but secure the house itself. But for now, rest. The door is open. You've stepped in. Now, let heaven finish building what you said yes to. You've stepped through the door, and everything feels different. There's no trumpet, no fireworks, no crowd clapping, but something is undeniably real. A quiet stillness, a sacred hush, not because things have stopped moving, but because you've entered a space that was always waiting for you. This isn't fantasy. This is fulfillment. You're no longer watching others live the life you secretly long for. You're living in the land that was promised to you. The peace is tangible. You notice it in the small things. Your chest doesn't tighten in the morning anymore. The silence no longer feels empty. It feels full. You're not rushing, scrambling, doubting like you used to. You're resting deeply. For the first time in a long time, you feel safe. And that's not just your nervous system healing. It's your spirit finally agreeing with your environment. You're not adjusting anymore. You're aligning. This is the fruit of obedience. Not flashy, not loud, but holy. A space built for the real you. This new place doesn't just match your faith. It makes room for your fullness. You don't have to tone yourself down. You don't have to walk on eggshells. You don't have to apologize for your hunger, your fire, your sensitivity, your strength. You don't just feel accepted here. You feel chosen. And more importantly, you feel free. This is the space that was never built for who you used to be, but for who you were always becoming. And now, the two have met. What God anchors in your new space, let's be clear. Heaven didn't just move you to a new space to admire the view. He moved you because this is where divine anchoring begins. Inside this spiritual relocation, God is releasing the ones who speak your language without needing subtitles, the friends who sharpen you, the mentors who cover you, the partners who won't compete with your calling, but champion it. Not scraps, not just enough to survive, but overflow. Unexpected, unexplainable, supernatural. You'll notice certain drama never shows up here. That's not luck. That's angelic boundary enforcement. You'll create again, build again, speak again, not out of pressure, but out of peace, because calling flows naturally when the soul is finally settled. This is why the move was necessary. God wasn't just moving your location. He was moving your legacy. The enemies of this new season, not everything will be easy. Sometimes you'll still hear familiar lies. Maybe this won't last. What if I mess this up? Am I really allowed to enjoy this? These are not facts. These are phantoms of your former self. You're not in the same place anymore. And so, the fear that once ruled your mind has no authority here. But here's the secret. You must learn to protect this space. Protect your peace. Guard the gates. Steward your time. Preserve your joy. Don't let old voices into new rooms. Rebuilding with heaven's materials in this new place everything feels different. And that's because you're building differently now. You're no longer constructing your life from fear of rejection, proving your worth, aching for validation, striving to be enough now. You build from confidence in God's timing, revelation of your identity, deep inner safety, intimacy. With heaven, the old tools won't work in this new space. You're not building from survival anymore. You're building from sonship. You'll know you're in the right place when you start speaking things you didn't have the courage to say before. You have ideas you used to think were too much, and now they feel possible. You feel God again, not as a distant authority, but as a present friend. You no longer dream of escape. You dream of expansion. This is your confirmation. You're not adjusting to fit this life. This life was designed to fit you. The blessing that stays, maybe before, you only experienced short seasons of peace. Fleeting winds, temporai moments. But this is different. This is not a moment. It's a mantle. You don't have to beg heaven to stay with you. Heaven is dwelling here. You'll feel it in the ordinary. While washing dishes, joy will sneak up on you. While walking into rooms, favor will follow you. While you rest, heaven will be working. Not because you're lucky, because you finally said yes. Declare this with conviction. Let your voice match the truth of what you've stepped into. Say it with reverence. Say it with boldness. I am not going back. I am not apologizing for this peace. I protect this place. I honor this season. I live in the space God designed for me. This is holy ground, and I will build what heaven gave me the key for.